Okay, my name is Melody Elwell Romancito. When I was younger, I used to sign my paintings M. Elwell, and a good friend of mine, who's also an artist, started calling me Melwell, and that's the name that I've been using as an artist. That's a persona that's kind of, I won't say new to me, but it's a return for me since retiring from news business for a number of years, 30 plus years since moving here to Taos. I've lived in Taos for, I've lived here since 1986. I was born in the Midwest in Wichita, Kansas, moved all over the Midwest, eventually moving west, Pacific Northwest, Southern California, and then here most of my adult life. I married a local guy, and we had a child, and we have grandchildren, and I'm retired. I returned to art full-time after years of being a professional journalist, a photographer, software developer, and also a number of years as a professional cook. No one in my family was an artist. I'm really the first one, but both my husband and my daughter are artists and very talented. The influences that I've experienced over time have been many and varied. I started out in college wanting to be a fine artist, but putting myself through college was very challenging, and I ended up kind of throwing up my hands and changing majors, changing medias. Soon after throwing my hands up and changing my major from fine art to English, I moved to Arizona and became a short order cook in a hippie hard rock cafe in Tempe, Arizona. And the outfit, that's the best way to describe it, of people that I was with, ended up disbanding when they routed a lot of the hippies out of Tempe by tearing down the buildings where our cafe was. We moved to Eugene, Oregon, another bastion of lefty lunatics. So I lived there and was a cook for many years. And then I got a job as a software developer, and I was a telecommuter. This is like 1986, so this is pretty futuristic. I lived in a cabin in the shadow of Mount Hood. Is that dramatic or what? And actually had a brush with some white supremacists. So, there's interesting stories there. But I did end up moving to Southern California, working for a company that did research and development for Epson. And I developed the user interface, helped them develop their user interface for their early paint program, which became kind of a prototype for Mac Draw and Mac Paint. I don't know how far back you guys' experience goes in this area, but we lost our research and development program contract with Epson, and we scattered to the winds, and I moved here. And I tried picking up that software business and keeping it here, but the infrastructure, telephones and communications was not up to it. And so, again, I changed from being a software developer, having actually a pretty good independent software programmers guild, to having to work for the local paper. And I became their arts editor. Lo and behold, so I spent 30 some years interviewing a lot of our local artists and learning how the Taos Society of Artists history unrolled for our history here, and was exposed to a lot of art during that time. And also during that time, I met Robert Parsons, who's the owner and no longer the director. He's kind of retired and receding from that, but of the Parsons Gallery, which has two arms. There's the historic gallery, which is on Bent Street, and then the gallery here, which is where my studio is, where I'm talking with you from, which has the living artists, the contemporary artists, and I'm lucky enough to show with Robert. Robert's extensive experience over time with this market and his familiarity with the history of art has helped me tremendously in finding my way. I have closets full of unsold art because I've continued to make art during all these decades where I backseated all that because they're all extremely personal and I would say difficult and not tremendously accessible. But he's helped me to kind of understand what art that people would like to own is. And I think a lot of it is rooted in nostalgia, especially now during our days of uncertainty where we want to feel that comfort of the fire, of the return of the hunters, of a life maybe that is no longer with us. And so when I try to paint, I paint in a lot of different mediums, but I stick to oils because the way people feel about oil paintings as opposed to, say, water media and other media, although I do work in those. I do contemporary, very abstract work, but the work that has really resonated with others and it has a very precious place for myself is the work that talks about the Taos experience. Over the years, my contact with Millicent Rogers has been, I won't say extensive, but it has been sustained, and I'm aware of their calendar of programs. Now, of course, we're talking pre-COVID, but of their shows, the programs that they have, the way they work with the artists in the community, not just the Taos community, but northern New Mexico, really, in the Southwest as a whole. And their dedication to the indigenous artists of this area has had a profound effect on art being made here.
I am pleased to introduce Melody Elwell Romancito. She is a resident at Taos Pueblo and is a multi-talented woman. Her resume is as diverse as the styles and subjects of her paintings. To realize her triumphs is a colorful journey through her life. She has finally found herself doing what makes her most content as she exercises her talents of singing with a Western swing band, the Swing Dusters, and painting as often as she possibly can. In her work, one can recognize the influences by some of the Taos masters' styles of painting. Her work will complement your home with a soothing melody of her paint stroke. Please visit themillicentrogers.org for the first annual Southwestern Artisans Market and find yourself drawn into the portraits ready to take you away for an escape into Melody's perspective.